the Ravens news that we did want to talk about is Jerry Rosburg was just added to the staff and in a role to help with game management. Am I not mistaken?
Yep, you're not.
Yep.
So
everyone has had a perfectly rational and just not overreactive, thoughts on this. And I'm proud of everyone. No one has come and said that Harbaugh now gets paid $12 million a year to be a cheerleader. I want to make something very clear. There are people who are upset that Harbaugh is still the head coach. And there are people who wanted Mike McDonald to take over. And I understand that. I thought in the moment that was a very good route to take. But with John Harbaugh being the head coach, why are people upset that they're going out and getting coaches that he's going to listen to? Because Jerry Rosburg is someone who's been on his staff for a while. He's very respected, and he's someone that Harbaugh has always listened to. He's been the assistant head coach for multiple years. So now they're bringing in a guy who we know Harbaugh trusts and listen to help manage the game, which has been Harbaugh's biggest, I don't want to say downfall, but his biggest flaw over the past few playoff games. People say his game management is horrible. So then they bring in someone to help with that, and people are like, okay, then what's the point of having Harbaugh? Well, there are still a lot of things that he has to do throughout the week, but this is coming in, and this is a big step for Harbaugh to say, you know what, hand up. I'm not the best at game management right now, so let's bring in someone else to come help with that. I don't understand why people are upset with that. This is an incredible move by the Ravens.
Yeah, and I think here's the reality of the situation. John Harbaugh is going to coach the Ravens in 2024. And to me, if you can bring in guys to help him in an area where, look, we've seen over the course of the past couple of seasons, whether it be 2019 or even times within the regular season in 2023 or even the playoff game, the AFC Championship, if you're bringing guys to help John Harbaugh, he's going to be the coach of the Ravens, so why not bring in the guys to help him? I mean, I understand that there are flaws with John Harbaugh, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever side you're on, if you don't want him as the coach, if you do want him as the coach, there are flaws with him, and you got to point those out. But if you're the Ravens, the best you can do is bring in the support system around him. And, he's been somebody that has hired good coaches, and, that defensive staff that we talked about for 2023, that there's a picture. I've made it. It's 6 coaches. He has 1 head coach and 3 coordinators on that picture from his staff last year. So if you can bring in guys to help John Harbaugh, if John Harbaugh feels like Jerry Rosburg will help him in a situation where maybe he gets too invested in one thing and Jerry Rosburg pulls him back and says, hey, look, this is what got us here. Let's continue to do it. I think it's good that the Ravens are doing that. Zach mentioned it. Rosburg is well respected across the league. He earned a lot of respect filling in for Nate. What was it? He filled in for Hackett in Denver, right? Yeah, Hackett in Denver.
Literally, he's a year and a half removed from being the interim head coach of the Broncos.
Yeah. So now you have a guy that, he will have John Harbaugh's ear. And while John Harbaugh's still the head man and he makes the final decisions, you now have another guy to bounce ideas off of. And maybe in the heat of a game when you need something, Rosberg can tell John Harbaugh, look, I know you're doing this. I know you believe in this, but we really should consider doing this. And John Harbaugh can make that decision. And again, if the Ravens fail again, it for any team, it falls on the head man. Mm-hmm. But the least you can do if you're John Harbaugh, if you're the Ravens, is surround that guy with the guys he needs.
This was a move that helped the Ravens take a step towards going to the Super Bowl. And if that means that it's the AFC Championship next year and all Jerry Rosburg is being paid to do is to sit there and yell at Harbaugh to run the ball more than 6 times and we go on to win the Super Bowl, it was worth it. It's just not something that I understand why people are freaking out about. It's not that big of a deal. I think it's a positive. It's a good thing to have another well-respected coach in there helping make decisions for a weakness of our head coach.
Yeah, I think this is what it really is.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, everybody. Everyone take a deep breath.
Thank you.
The season just ended. Literally the season
hasn't even really ended technically.
And so it's take a deep breath. The Ravens have been one of the most stable organizations in the NFL. It's going to be okay. We don't have to dissect everything all the way down, but what we do know is there's somebody coming back to the staff that John Harbaugh trusts, and this is a group that's going to be determined to get back. We're going to dive into free agent news and everything, and Roxy, this group still believes in what they're doing. This hasn't changed, but I think everyone, just like with Rocco and Zach after eating the chip, just take a deep breath now, relax. You're through whatever just happened. Let those harsh emotions go away, and Get a little bit more level-headed. There's so many things that have to play out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Rip. And I don't think this Rosberg hire is bad at all. I mean, he was on the staff from 2008 to 2018, spent plenty of time with the team, plenty of time with guys that are still there now. And on top of that, he was still coming back after he was employed by other teams and when in his downtime as well. So I think this past a couple practices in 2023, not specifically when he was with, you know what I mean though.
Yep.
But when he was done with the Broncos, he's coming back and taking part in practices. John Harbaugh respects the hell out of him. Players respect the hell out of him. They're really familiar with him. He's there. He's watching. He's talking. So I don't think this is a bad hire by any means to bring Jerry Rosburg back. It's not some outsider that we're talking about. He was a guy who was on the staff when the Ravens won the Super Bowl last. So I think it's a great hire for John Harbaugh for the Ravens, and we'll see where it goes going forward. But as far as what you said, man, yeah, it is time to turn the page. It's gonna sting. You had the week to be sad, be mad, and I'm not trying to tell Ravens flock what to do. I mean, you're still going to be upset over this, and it's going to hurt for a while because it was a tough loss. One of the probably worst losses in the franchise's history. But look at what's to come. Have faith for now. Eric DaCosta, he's done some great things, especially this past season with the guys he's brought in off the couch, with the signings he's made. So come back to me and tell me where your panic meter is when free agency is all said and done and we're talking about training camp, because I have a good feeling that they're going to make some good moves that in the right direction for them. This obviously isn't going to be the same team as it was last season, but to improve on their roster going forward. We still got months to go until the season begins.
Matabike coming back. Just saying. Anyway, you guys, Kevin got the picture. Thank you.
Hold on.
I'm over here doing it too, and he just did not care.
It happens.
I know.
It happens.
All right. So anyway, well, that's everything's fine.